So with the folder structure of the asset you get, it's just going to be this Sci-Fi corridor folder. I'm going to be migrating this stuff across. I just had the first person controller in here just to play test the demo level. So yeah, it's going to be this Sci-Fi corridor controller. I'm just going to work my way down through the folders. Blueprints, there's not really any functionality. I just added these in here for convenience. There's no functionality like doors opening or anything like that, or camera animation, or the cameras within the level, like the mesh cameras. So basically it's just for ease with these lights, mainly the 3 different types of lights. And also I just put the camera in here, and it's in 3 separate meshes with the pivot set up, so it's easy to animate the pivots left and right and up and down there for the top. So that's all the blueprints are there. The level instance sections, these are the main building blocks of the level, and these are what I built the demo level out of, and these are obviously all made from this kit. So it's quite easy to snap all these together. They're all set up to work on the grid, and they work best at 5s. You can work the main ones in 10s as well, but they're not all exactly square. Like the main section is rectangular, and some of the sections are odd shapes, like the corners and that. I wanted to make it a bit more interesting, rather than just have everything exactly on a square. It would become a bit boring then when you snap it all together. So I wanted to make these pieces a bit more interesting, but I still haven't worked it all out to work on snap on 5s. It all snaps on 5s. So yeah, these are all the main building block parts here, and that's what you construct your level from. And I'll show a demo in a while where you're going to move up, you're going to be placing all these parts all over the place. Staircases, the staircases join up at 400. If you start your level on 0 and Z, then the first stage up on the floor with the staircase is 400, the next one's at 800, and so that all snaps vertically as well with the staircases for multiple levels. And the example I'll show later in the demo level, I have it set up easily here that you can just create filler sections from this. I'll show an example rather than trying to explain it, but if parts don't line up exactly, where you go around this way with left right turns, U-turns, corridors, and then you go this way, another way, and then you meet up, there's never any fear that you're not going to be able to join up 2 corridors. You can see the demo level, that's what I did. There was 3 different parts where I just had to add filler pieces in, and I'm just taking meshes from here, and these are designed in a way that makes it really easy to just slot in the filler pieces, and it makes it more interesting because it gives you custom sections of the map. Not everything looks exactly the same. As I said, I'll show you in an example. So yeah, that's level instances. And these are the maps here. There's this one here, it's just an asset showcase. Then there's the demo map that you can obviously add a first person or third person controller and run through the level. All the collisions and everything are set up, as you can see from the demo. These are all the showcases for the prefabs. So I'll just have a quick look at them. Yeah, they're all named here. The only thing is now, I have the text 3D plugin enabled here, so if you're getting an error on loading, that's what it'll be, that you just need to turn on this text 3D, or not turn it on if you don't want to see these, because they're all named over here anyway. Pretty easy naming. You can see exactly what's what. So yeah, they're all the sections, as I say. They'll all snap together. You can see here these rooms. You can make these are just 2 and 3 as demo pieces, but you can make these as wide, as big as you like, and you can cap them off here with the end pieces, and then you can just swap out walls for doors, and you can make these as wide or as long as you like. And yeah, it's all it's all self-explanatory there. That's the maps, and the main thing here now is materials. There's a few materials here and there like that are unique. Obviously the emissive materials for the light, and then some of the props. Actually, I'm just going to go back to this, the acid showcase, and some of the props here, like the computer monitor there, and all of these are using the master material. It's just really that computer monitor out of all the props, and then these decals. I just put these in here. These are just mesh decals. Easy enough there to swap them out with different images if you want. You can grab the UV sheet or just import it into a 3D package and easily swap them out for different decals. I chose these over projected decals, deferred decals, just for, you know, they're real cheap and they're easy to create. And what else has? Yeah, the screens. Those screens, I'll show you in a minute here. I've added in just a selection of these that I made myself. Those screens, you can just swap them out so they have a material as well. And I think that is pretty much it. And there's some generic materials in these. You don't really see these pipes, so I just have a material added on using one of the layer materials, so that's free as well, pretty much. No extra materials there. So with materials, this is the main one here. The master material, layered material, and each of the different sections. These, the 4-way, the 90 and the basic, they're the three main instances that I made first, and then I made everything off them. So you're going to have the materials for them. The 4-way, everything's applied in the scene, so you can check with each mesh there to see what materials applied to it, because some of the stuff is UV wrapped onto the same texture sheet, 0 to 1. They're bundled together onto the same sheet, so they're sharing the same material. So these are the let's go back out here for a sec. We'll have the master material. Sorry, I usually have working on a 4K screen, I have to shrink this down for the recording. So the master material, this is all it is really, and then it's referencing these the layers, material attribute layers. This is optional here, as it says here. This is the mesh normal map detail, so the baked, not baked, but it's the 0 to 1 rather than the tiling normal detail. So you can disable that in the material instance, or leave it on, or change the strength or whatever. So I'm going to go into that's so that's just the master material that everything's referencing at the very top. And then where are the other ones here? Layers, the layer blends. These are all referencing the masks. These materials all have RGBA masks, plus each asset has an RGBA mask, plus a detail mesh normal. So they're the two maps, and this is referencing the mask, and that mask is plugged in. You can see here for each of them, that mask is plugged in here. And then that's just an extra, that's for, I'll show you later on, it's part of the instance, just an option to have clean paint rather than the old sort of paint. I'll show you now. So that's basically all that is. You don't really need to know anything about these because I've exposed everything in the material instances here. So you don't really need to know, just so you know where they are. Layer blends, the layers. This is the master one, so this is the main material, and everything's commented here. Base color, dirt overlay, roughness, metallic controls, grunge overlay, all the UV controls, the normal, and pretty much it. Yeah, and these are all, as I say, everything here is exposed in the instance. And you can just keep on duplicating these and whatever, changing all the parameters, you know, as many as you like. I just use these are all just, I've included all the textures here for these. They're just textures I made myself in Substance Painter, but they're just for the demo, so you can swap all the textures out, drop them down to, I have them at 4K here, but you can drop them down to 2K, 1K, whatever suits, and then whatever, make your own materials. So that's the layers, the layer blends, and then the master material. So for the actual material itself, I'll just select one of these assets here, really matter which, and the layer blend. Basically, those layered materials there are just getting added in here, whichever ones you create or duplicate or instance, you can just add them in here. So that's the base material, and then they're layered on top, and then it's just using the A channel, and then RGB. So the dirt, that's using the alpha, the extra paint color, and then steel, where it's chipped away, the steel is shown, rust, and then dirt up the top, and then the controls are all exposed in here. They're also, when you open up these layers, but you have access to them here as well. So there's the clean paint switch I was talking about with the extra mask from the layer blend, and then within that you have that's it. If you roll down the layer asset, this is where all these controls are, and you know, there's loads of different controls here for pretty much everything, and they are they are all in here. If you open one of these up, you can see exactly what's here. Change it out for solid color, bright color correction, dirt overlay, and then once you add that, you can add extra dirt on top of whatever's in the texture, and that has full controls here with its own UV controls. Same thing for the grunge, and I've just added in my own map. I've shipped these maps. These are kind of old maps that I just use for testing, but you can put your own maps in there, obviously. So as those controls, the normal map, strength, roughness and metallic, texture swap outs, and full UV controls for scale, rotate, and offset as well. Yeah, so that's, as I say, those controls are all here as well in each of these, so you don't have to keep opening these, because really I suppose you want to keep it all separate so that you can duplicate or instance these and just leave them unconnected, the different materials. So that's pretty much it for the material. That's all you need to know. Obviously people can, I wanted to keep this video short. I didn't want to make it too long. People kind of say, Jesus, how complicated is this? We need to watch an hour-long video, but it's pretty straightforward. People can just email me or whatever, leave a message if they have any doubts or they want to know any further information. So I just wanted to quickly show where a few of these other things are located before I move on from materials. I'll just quickly cover textures here. So base paint, these are all the layers that I've explained. These are the different materials, and these are some generic grunges I've just shipped. You can use them or swap them out. I just have them in for the demo example. And these are the computer screen off. That's just a separate map for computer screen when it's turned off, or when you don't have the overlaid screen. The mesh decals, this is just a decal sheet. You can either swap these out. It's just mapped to a plane, and they're chopped up then from that plane. So yeah, they're easy enough to customize. Wi-Fi readout. And the important one here are the RGB masks. So these are all the different masks for different materials. So each of the props, and there's the mask for the clean paint, the normal map, and then this is the RGBA mask, that's driving all the effects like the rust, the dirt, and the chipped paint or steel underneath the chipped paint. So that's where they are. You're never going to need to touch these. You could if you really wanted to, but you probably don't want to. You can export any of the assets here, and then you can apply these maps back in Substance Painter and repaint the masks, but I don't imagine anybody wants to do that. But if you do your own setup like this using this workflow, it makes it really quick to texture assets and adjust the masks and just re-import them. So that's where they are. And the other thing I wanted to show was the mesh decals. Oh yeah, sorry, even in textures here, the screen HUDs, wall computer, that's actually its own unique texture. That's the only material, I think, apart from the decals. And then the screen HUD, it's just a collection of HUDs. You can put whatever you like in here. I just thought I'd throw all these in here, make it easy to test them out without having to put your own assets in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll show you the material then for the material of the props. Come on, glare blends. No, yeah, sorry, here they are. Here, these are the screens. So there's a master material, and then these are just different instances. And the details, there's dirt overlaid here. You can't really see it with the screen. You kind of see it here, but there's some dirt overlaid, a few controls exposed, your emission, and then you can swap out the dirt mask, the screen HUD, and the dirt here. And that is pretty much it. And these are just the materials. So when you open up these materials, they're the materials. They're the same as every time. I'm just duplicating these. If you want to create a new material, I'm just duplicating these and swapping these out. And then obviously you can turn any of these effects off, so you don't have to. These are all fully customizable. As you can see here, this is just the same asset. So I've just overlaid a solid color, turned the normals down a bit, turned off the rust, and it's easy to do. It's easy to swap them out. That's the power of this master material setup, that everything's customizable. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in, add those few things in, let people know that where they exist. So it's the materials and the meshes. As I said, these were the three ones that I made first, and these are all set up with pivots that suit. I'm just going to first go into sandbox. This is just an empty map, just so I can bring in some assets here. And back to meshes and 4-way. So at the most basic here is this main floor section, the basic section, and I'll show you the reason why I have pivots where they are. And some of the parts, the parts that make up these main sections that become the level instances. So just for ease of use, so this part here is going to be used, whenever your sections run together, and say the 4-way or the T-junction or the corner piece, whatever, you might have to add one in when two parts join up, because these single sections only have one of these on one side, because obviously they're tiling along, so if you have two, they'll be doubled up in the middle every time. So you want to add these in. It's quite easy to add it into a section here once you get into position, and it will always work out centered on this and on the corner here, centered as well. And then you just simply rotate it around, and it's exactly in place. It's easy to add to the level, and then you can just drag it along. Select the two of them. You can just drag it along there. Maybe that has to go one more down. And I've kind of worked it out as well that like it makes it easy to, if ever you're going to be dragging pieces around like this, it's easy to snap them together because by the joint, and then the grates are going to line up. So you could still be over here. And zoom in a bit, just have to snap one out, two out. That's it there. So they're the basic sections, and it's the same for these walls. And I'll just zero that out. That's set up here, the same. Except, you just have to rotate that around. You can just either snap it in, either go -1 on the X here with the scale, or just snap it into position. And they're going to be always ended up more or less flush with the end of this and in the center of those. And then these walls then can be just swapped out for these other walls. And that's pretty much the basic section. And also the single door here, that will snap in. And the reason that it's not exactly there is because I've set it up as a level instance, so it's double-sided, and it has the it's ready to snap in, but without having to mirror it across there as well. But just for ease of adding it to the level. And the door then can just be slid into place, and then this just gets doubled up. And I'll just remove this one. And let me see, I'll just add a floor back in so we can see. I'll just show where this is going to line up. It's pretty much there, and you can tell by this here. That's the way I always tell. That seam, that's going to be right on the wall there, or you're out too far or you're in too far, so you're just going to be in the middle there. And that's why I've made these the door piece, full door piece, as a one of these instances. Both doors actually, the single and the double door. And that will just snap. That will just snap in there as well. Just get rid of this. And then you're ready to put another room over that side. And on it goes. But yeah, that's why I've made these now these level instances. They're great to work with. Once it's saved in here as its own level instance, you can do anything with it out here in the scene. So you can break it up. You can break it up here, edit it, add pieces in, add blueprints to it like I've done with the lights here, or you can just break it and take pieces out and do whatever you want. So once you have all your level placed and you're happy with it, then you can start breaking these up if you want and customizing them further. But they're brilliant to just get going and quickly put the level together. So another important thing to show here is if you're building a level like this, and you might start as I did here, and build out in all different directions and loop back around, and eventually you want sections to join back up. So I didn't worry at the very start about building everything on an exact square, like the footprint of each section had to be a square, because then the level gets quite boring and repetitive and there's not much interest then. So I wanted to make like the corner pieces and everything, and even the floor sections rectangular and offset, so that it added a bit of visual interest, because I knew later on that it was going to be easy when you're building a level like this. So in this case, I had one here, I think one here, three instances where your main sections are all lined up, and then they're not going to join here. There might be a very small kind of a piece left in the middle, and I also wanted to have these, because that adds extra visual interest as well, because they're going to be like their own little custom pieces that you can build on the spot and make them out of whatever way you want. And I'll show you an example here. So where these two didn't join up from here to here is custom, or just this small, it's this sliver here in the middle actually, where this floor section is here. That's custom, and those pieces are in, I think they're in the four-way here, floor filler, floor filler, floor filler, and you can use them for whatever you like. They don't have to be floors. Here's another, that's a trim piece. Yeah, these are the, this piece as well, for instance. I've used this in some places as a wall, some places as part of the ceiling, so we can use them for whatever. For instance, this, I think it's this one here. So you just add that in. Then in the 90 you have some different shorter wall variations. They're not as wide, that you can just drop in there. So I just pop that floor in, snap it into place, scale it out till it joins up with the other one, and then I just put these in. These are just these pieces here, cover the join, and then for the ceiling I'm just going to add in a light so you can see what's going on. Ceiling then is just using one of the lintels, or there's two of them stacked, and then I've used these joist pieces which are dead handy, and I could actually probably have them set at an angle, so I could probably put another one in here actually, just to cover that gap there, cover the underside of that. Whatever way you want to do it, you can build up just to cover that there, that the underside of the texture, or you could just rotate that around even. Oops, that's the whole section, sorry, that's the roof off this other section. So yeah, it is actually just this and this, and yeah, this lintel piece here. I think there's another one of them, and that's the joist. So you can just build these up, and then it gives you the effect then as well. It's a custom sort of piece, and it's like just like a bulkhead, and it blends into the level. As I say, that's when you run into a where the level loops back around and you want to join them up, it's easy to do. And then you can see I have another one here, that's another piece, and it's custom then as well. There's no other pieces like that in the level, and all that is the same. And in this case I've used back in the four-way, this floor filler here. It's just that's just a blank floor with a texture. And then in the props you will find these, I have some tiles, some loose tiles that you can add in then onto that floor piece just to cover it up. And that's exactly what I did here. Add in the floor, and I believe, yeah, the floor filler, this is that other section beside it, so that's a full level instance. Add in a wall, that's part of that level instance there. So just needed to add one of these in, as I showed earlier on, and then just rotate it around, and then just add lintels as well. I think I showed earlier, just add a lintel in here, 2 joists, and then some of these they're in props as well. I think the flat roof sections, that's this here, and I also use them as walls. As I say, you can use them as whatever you like. You use as ceilings here, they're walls in the staircase level instances. So drop that on top, 2 lintels, 2 joists, 2 wall sections, and the floor, like, and just threw in some floor lights here for a bit of extra interest. It's easy, as I say, to just fill in those, so you don't even have to worry when you're building your level, as long as the main level instances all snap together. And then as you're building, like I built all this as I went. I didn't design it or anything on paper. I just freeformed it, freestyled it, whatever. I just was building from in here. Just grab a piece, snap it in, keep going, and working my way around, branch off. And this actually is a good example to show as well. This is another piece I made that adds some interest, where you can join up shorter, narrow sections with wide sections, and that's up into the stairs. And I'll show that here on just on a plain level. So these are 3 other pieces, the level instances as well, that are all just made up the same from the stock kit parts. And I just built these as well, just to make it easy. It just makes it easier when you create these level instances. It just makes it so much easier to build the levels. And I've pretty much covered nearly everything you need here. U-turns, short, narrow tunnels, different narrow tunnels. This is just a variation of the basic straight section, so that you can pop pieces in from the side without having to break up the level instance and then remove the wall. So say for instance the staircase, if you come up the staircase, it will snap directly into this, and then you can just keep building on, and then just add in another one of these trusses, or else just whatever, flip it around, and the truss will already be on one side of the straight section. So that just makes it easy, because when I was building the level first, I kept having to break up these straight sections and remove the wall. So I said I'll just make one that just makes it easy to drag straight in, and it's ready to go without having to break up the level instance. Because the level instance, I think I explained it earlier on, you can edit them and break them up once you have your level laid out and designed. You can just break them up, and it's always saved in here, so it doesn't affect in here. And then you can customize it within the level once you drag it into the level. So this piece, for instance, was a piece I just mentioned, and that snaps in here, and you get a feel for how these snap together. You know it's going to be pretty much centered on the door, and then you can just look at these. Right, well, that's centered there now, that's where I need it to be. And also then you can see, I think I need to come out one more back in. Won't matter because it's still snapping on the grid, whichever you think looks better yourself. So there's a lot of these in the level where they're either joining up with the stairs, or in this case this narrow corridor, and then I've even used it just to join up with other pieces, like is this the 90? That's no, not that one, it's this one. Snap that around. Sorry, I just want to put that back on 0. And then just add in a light so I can see what's going on. then same thing, you can just come around, have a look. You know, and that works in there because I have that at a 45 at the end. And it gives a bit of visual interest within the level. I just added some strip lights onto this. So those pieces, there's other places where they're useful. As I say, you know, this here is also useful. It's actually, I think, the reason why I created this as well, because it fits with this nicely. This double alcove section. This alcove section was just, snap it in, and then you can get an idea of where it needs to go by, you can see this here, just pull that in so that it's tucked in either side. And then even this here, like this is just built from that main truss. And then the other truss that doesn't have the arm on it, it's just flat. And then these are just, there's a little block piece in the 90 section, this little block piece here. That's all there. They're just scaled in place and to fill that in, because it shows up the UVs that were scaled down that would never be seen otherwise. So it just covers that up, and it also looks, you know, it adds a little bit of a custom piece as well to the level, bit of visual interest. You know, it's a decent structure there to add into your level, as I say, to give that bit of interest. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave the video here, and if anyone has any questions, of course, feel free. I'd be delighted to even make another video if people want to see a bit more. Another demo, but that's pretty much it. It's just a matter of getting used to all the pieces. I had a lot of fun as well doing this. Originally I made, I don't know, eight of these level instances, and I was having so much fun building new ones and snapping them together that I just kept going. I think in the end I made 25 of them or something. I couldn't stop them because it was quite easy. Just get used to the different parts that are available here, and you can pretty much build whatever you like. Get used to how they snap together, different parts, cover up joints or whatever. And yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that. As I say, yeah, just feel free to email me or whatever, ask any questions. I'll be happy to discuss things and answer any questions. Alright then, cheers, thanks.